Okay, we have set up a new project that we'll be doing all of our assignments in. We've set up the editor so that we can generate the proper data to turn in our assignments. We have made a folder for our first assignment in the root of the assets directory. So once we have this, we want to go ahead and save a scene in our assignment 1 directory. So under File, Save Scene As, we have enabled underscore IMA22. It'll be your name underscore IMA22 assets, assignment 1, this folder. Go ahead and save it as first state machine, and it will put the proper file extension there. And you see that in the project explorer here, the scene that we're working on shows up in assignment 1. That is exactly what we want to start here. So now that we have a scene, let's go up here and create a empty game object, and that will create a game object for us that has no geometry associated with it at this time. It goes right to the center of the world. Now we go over here to the inspector and we'll add a component. Type FSM into the search window up here, and that will bring up the Playmaker. There's a couple of options. We want the Playmaker FSM component. Go ahead and select that, and if we press Edit, that will open another window, and it went onto my other monitor. I'll drag that over here. This is the Playmaker window, and you can dock windows in Unity, so you can dock that right into your view here, so you can get a view of Playmaker and your scene as well. It's not moving for me. There we go. So, okay, the first thing we should do is we should rename our newly created game object to something more descriptive. Like, so for this assignment, this first state machine, it's a very simple state machine that just goes between two different states after a couple of seconds. So we'll call it the WaitMachine. How exciting. Okay, we renamed our game object, and you see down here in the Playmaker window, it changed it to WaitMachine :FSM. So we can change our FSM up over here in the inspector to be, instead of FSM, we can call it Wait FSM. So we now know what this FSM does at a glance. So what we want is we want to have a FSM that goes from one state to another state after a set amount of time, and then after another set of time goes back to the original state, and just kind of does that in a loop that never ends. So to start, we'll name state 1 begin, and we'll make another state, and we'll call it end, even though this never ends. This is just for us. Now we need actions. So how does it know to go from begin to end? There's got to be something has to happen. So over here, we'll go to the action browser, and that's cheating. In the action browser, we'll type wait, and there is our wait action. Okay, so the action browser real quick, I want to show you that there are a lot of actions in Playmaker. These are all sorted alphabetically by function. So you have animate variables, which lets you animate, obviously the different types of variables that there are available in Playmaker. We have different methods with floats between two floats, with curves. There's it goes all the way down through here, and it's kind of neat to explore and think of the things that you can do with this, and we'll get into these a lot later. But up here, if you just type something like with wait, it's a search window. It'll filter it out for you, and you can find what you're looking for pretty quickly. Okay, let's set the time on the wait action in the begin state here to something a little more reasonable than 1. Let's bump it to 3. Okay, so we have, in this action, we have the time to wait, which is 3. We have the finish event, which is currently empty. There's nothing here to do. So it'll wait, but it doesn't know what to do when it waits. So let's go over to events, and let's add an event to this. We'll call it go to end. No spaces, no special characters. It's very important that you don't put any spaces. If you need to put something in there, put an underscore, but you don't really need to put special characters into your names for events or states for that matter. Okay, so we go back to the state, and over here in this window, if we right click, we want to add transition and go to end, which was the event that we just created. So here we have go to end. It shows up underneath here. Now you see we get this little error here. Now this is the fun thing about Playmaker, is it will tell us when there's a problem, and there's a problem here. So let's click the error, and what does it say? It says transition missing target state, and it will tell us where this error is occurring. It's occurring on WaitMachine, which is our game object. It's on WaitFSM, which is our FSM in the inspector here, this component, and it's in the begin state. So this is why we go to the trouble of naming everything, is so that when an error comes up, we can find out exactly where it is and fix it as quickly as possible. Okay, so we go back here over to the action tab over here, and let's choose under finish event, instead of none, let's hit go to end, and then on go to end over here, we will drag this out over to end. Okay, so we have the begin state set up, so let's set up the end state. So let's select the wait action with the begin state selected, and if we right click, we can copy selected actions. Okay, so with that action copied, we select the end state, right click, paste actions. Alright, and once again we have an error, and we can click down here and it will tell us, okay, event not used by this state or any global transition. So it's saying, hey, there's no such thing as go to end. Well, we can fix that. We can add an event for go to begin. We don't want to use the same state for, or the same transition for states that go back and forth to each other. So with that new event added, once again, right click the state. With it selected, right click the state, add transition, go to begin, click and drag over. Change the finish event from go to end to go to begin. Alright, so now we have this little loop set up. Let's go ahead and hit the play button up here and see what happens. Alright, it's in the begin state, it's in the end state. Then it waits 3 seconds and it goes back and forth. It's working, it's doing exactly what we want to do, and we can see in here we have it, the Playmaker comes by default set up to display what the state is of the game object as you play back, and this is working exactly as we would expect it to. Okay, so our FSM does what it's supposed to do. Everything works, but we're going to do a little bit extra here to just make this more readable to anybody else that may use our file, or us even if we come back to this after a period of time and we don't understand. I mean, this is a very simple example, so it's pretty easy to see what's going on, but not all of your FSMs are going to be this simple. In fact, this will probably be the only FSM that will ever be this simple. So let's select the begin state, and let's right click it, and we can give it a color. Since it's we'll give it blue since it's begin, and we'll give end, we'll give it its complement. Let's give it orange. There we go. So we have that. Let's add some comments too. Let's see. Begin. Wait. Put a space in there. And you can see the comments are showing up underneath the state, and on the end state, right? End. Oh. And wait. Go back to begin. So the comments are right there. So one of the things that I will be grading you on is how you comment and how you color code your nodes. I'm looking for clarity of communication. I'm not looking for a rainbow. I'm not looking for a novel. I'm looking for short but clear comments that tell me what a node does, and bits of color that show me that nodes are related, that transitions are related. You can make transitions different colors than the nodes. So I can select this transition right here, link color, and I'll make it blue because it's going back to the blue. And I'll make the go to end transition, I'll make it orange since it's going to orange. Looking for things like this makes it very clear where things are going. Now in a two-state situation, this is really, it's maybe overkill, but this is for learning purposes. This is to show you what I'm expecting to see in your FSMs as they grow and they get more complex. I want to see, you know, different things. And for things like the link here, we have an arrow in begin. We have it going off to here in this direction, and then for going to begin, it's going in the other direction. One thing I will do in my machines is I will change the link style for anything that's going back in the chain in flow. I will change it to a circuit so that I get a different look to the line, and this just makes it easier, in my opinion, to see and read. So one thing that will help me understand, and one thing that I will be looking is, since these assignments they're very easy to do if you follow the directions, what I'm going to be looking to see that you understand the material is I'm going to be looking at how you comment your nodes. So this right here, this is going to be important. This is all up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to write in the comments. It's going to be up to you to write a quick comment and show me that you understand what this state is doing. This will be a part of your grade. Okay, so with the state machine commented and color coded, the only thing left to do is to just save the scene. Alright, and let's zip this up into an archive to turn this into Blackboard. So if we go over here to the project browser, and we have this, we have the assignment 1 folder highlighted. Right click that and go to show in Explorer. Alright, so here we have the assignment folder, assignment 1, and we have the metadata. So you want to select the assignment folder and then holding the control button down, left click the assignment 1 meta file as well. And once you've done that, right click, send to compressed zipped folder. And that will take those two files and zip them up into one folder, and this is what you will upload and turn in on Blackboard under assignment 1.